For decades, we've pretty much thought of computers and science as these incredible number crunchers, right? They analyze massive data sets way faster than any human ever could. But what if AI could do more? What if it could actually become a creative partner, generating brand new ideas and helping us solve mysteries that have had scientists scratching their heads for years? Well, let's dive into how that's happening right now. To really get a feel for what this new partnership looks like, we're going to start with a genuine biological puzzle, a mystery that took human researchers the better part of a decade to figure out. So here was the mystery. Scientists kept finding these identical packets of genes in wildly different species of bacteria. And that was super confusing because these genes get around by hitching a ride inside viruses. The thing is, viruses are usually incredibly picky. They often infect just one specific type of bacteria. So how in the world were these genes making such huge leaps across the bacterial kingdom? Okay, so a team of brilliant researchers tackled this problem with years of really complex lab work. But then, to test out a new idea, another team gave an AI co-scientist the exact same question, and they only let it use public data from before the humans had found the answer. The difference in their approaches is just staggering. The solution the human team finally discovered was this really clever mechanism they called tail piracy. Basically, the gene packet builds its own head, the container for its DNA, but it doesn't build a tail. It then gets released and just waits to hijack the tail from a completely different virus. This creates a kind of mashup, a chimera, that can infect a totally new, unrelated bacterium. It's literally biological piracy. And this is where it gets wild. When the AI was asked the same question, its number one hypothesis was that the genes were spreading through capsid tail interactions. In other words, the head of one particle was interacting with the tail of another. It came up with almost the exact same idea as the human team, completely on its own. So how on earth does it do that? Well, it's not magic. It's all part of a revolutionary new process that's completely changing how scientific discovery actually works. It's called the closed-loop framework. And the best way to think of it is like a powerful, continuous conversation between the AI and a human scientist. The AI proposes ideas, the human tests them out in the real world, and then the AI learns from those results to come up with even better ideas. Let's break down how this conversation works. First up, the AI generates a bunch of hypotheses. These are its educated guesses. Second, the human scientist takes those suggestions and actually runs the experiments in the lab. Third, the AI analyzes the raw data that comes out of those experiments. And finally, this is the key, the loop repeats. The AI uses that new knowledge to refine its next set of guesses. It's kind of like a master chef tasting a sauce, making a tiny adjustment and tasting it again, but doing it at a ridiculous scale and speed. So let's see this in action in a totally different field, materials science. Specifically, the race to invent new materials for better, more efficient solar cells. The challenge here is just immense. Researchers had a list of ingredients that could be combined to create a new solar material. The number of unique 5-ingredient combinations they could make? Over 850,000. I mean, trying to explore all of those through traditional trial and error would be, well, pretty much impossible. Now, the goal wasn't just to mix stuff randomly. The team was hunting for a very specific outcome, a phase-pure material. The easiest way to think about this is like baking a perfect cake. A phase-pure material means all the ingredients have combined perfectly into one single, stable structure with no lumpy, unwanted bits. And that purity is absolutely crucial for making a solar cell that's both efficient and durable. And this is where that closed-loop framework just shines. The AI would suggest a batch of recipes, humans would cook them up in the lab, and the results got fed right back into the AI. And you can see it working. Over just 5 rounds of this cycle, the quality of the materials got progressively better and better. The AI was actually learning, guiding the scientists away from dead ends and pointing them toward the most promising recipes. And here's the really mind-blowing part. To find these top-quality candidates, this whole AI-guided process only needed to explore less than 0.004% of all 850,000 possibilities. That is just an incredible level of efficiency. Think of the time and the resources saved. So, the crucial takeaway here is that this is about so much more than just finding answers faster. It's really about changing the nature of discovery itself. This quote from the research paper says it all. The keywords to focus on here are interpretable and generalizable design rules. See, the AI isn't just spitting out a winning recipe and saying, here you go, trust me. It's actually helping scientists understand the why behind the results. It's helping them uncover the fundamental rules of chemistry for this whole system. So let's boil all this down. What's the big takeaway? Well, first, AI is graduating from just being a data analyst to being a true hypothesis generator. Second, this human-AI collaboration loop is dramatically accelerating the pace of discovery. And maybe most importantly, it's not a black box. It's helping us discover the actual rules of the game, which in turn makes us all better scientists. This new partnership between human intuition and artificial intelligence is fundamentally changing how we explore the world around us. It's really no longer a question of if this kind of collaboration will lead to world-changing discoveries, but when. And that leaves us with one final exciting thought. What do you think will be the first Nobel Prize won by a human AI team?